all cylinders right now, and it's nice to know that we all live at the same time too. So it's just Houston is just doing that thing, and it's nice to see that it's already paying to fruition right this second.
Look, I've said this before. If Ime was coach of Boston the last 2 years, I think they'd be going for a three-peat this year. Like I'm that high on Ime. Don't really think he was done right. That's a whole nother situation. But what he's really done with that young roster,
He should never done it. Go ahead.
As I said, it wasn't illegal. But as I said, with the young roster, with Jalen Green, with Sengun, Van Fleet, Jabari Smith, he's got those guys just playing well, and there talks about them just adding to that roster. Really excited to see what they can do, and I think they're ahead of schedule as well, which makes it really even more exciting. They're the number 2 seed right now in the West. I don't think anyone had them number 2 seed at any point, whether that was at the one game or at the quarter mark of the season. And Jalen Brunson, New York, look, that 1-2, that pick and roll with him and Cat is starting to become deadly. Cat is really flourishing on the offensive end. I mean, there's nothing much you can really say about that. And they made the quarterfinals. I think this is one of the steps to them just adding cohesion, getting better. So, and Jalen Brunson got to be the leader of that team. I don't know if they can finish it, but they're off to the start that I think we all expected.
Yeah, I mean that's actually impressive. I thought Jalen Brunson really has shown himself to be a pretty good leader of men here lately, leading by example. What do you think, Justin? I know this is your team and all, and what's your thoughts on the Knicks overall and what we've been seeing?
First and foremost, I had a challenge for El Capitone, which is Jalen Brunson. I wanted him to try to get the double-digit assists per game. Through that streak that he had a high streak, and he had a 17 assist game. It's those type of performances in which what I'm really looking forward towards. I know you can score. He can score with the best of them. That's not nothing I want. I know that you can do that. It's when you have other talent, high class talent. This is not necessarily all-star level talent, but they're like right below. OG is right below all-star talent. Mikal Bridges is right below all-star talent. When you have these kind of guys to go along with Cat, and don't forget whatever Josh Hart brings you on a nightly basis, which is whatever the team needs. I need you to put them first. That's what I want to see on a daily basis. So for the first part, you can see him struggling with that just a little bit. When to score and when not to score, when to push it, when not to push it, trying to get other people involved. As of the last couple of weeks, it's starting to be a little bit more easier for him. And, if Mikal Bridges laying this jump shot of his 3-point shot down, because he always wants to take 3-point shots when he's very efficient in the mid-range, but he wants to shoot threes. That's fine. If he gets that down, then I have no fear whatsoever. But he's the only person I'm a little bit shaky on. But everybody else is firing on pretty much all cylinders. It's good to see.
Yeah.
Orange and blue skies, baby. I'm sorry, my bad.
But yeah, shout out to everybody who's joining us late. I did add the show to our Facebook. So we are live on Facebook now. Might not be all night, but just a preview. If for some reason we drop off Facebook, come on over to our YouTube page and see us there. You know what I mean? And for those on YouTube, you might have missed like 5 minutes of the show. Nothing major. We didn't talk about nothing bad. You know what I mean? But appreciate you. Welcome in. Get all the damn fits if you've never seen this. Basketball in-season tournament special. We're doing this on YouTube. We appreciate you joining us, but let's keep it moving. Also, they named the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference Players of the Month, October and November. Very interesting. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the Western Conference. He averaged 29.8 points, basically 30 points a game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. And Jason Tatum for the East averaged 28.7, 8.5 rebounds, 5, almost 6 assists. Very good numbers from Jason Tatum. Look like this guy's on a tear coming off of that Olympics run. What does this say to you, Calvin? What does it say about Jason Tatum coming out the way he has?
I mean, he was fresh coming from the Olympics. Go ahead, Calvin.
he was well rested, but I mean, you expected him to want to have a bounce back as well, just coming off of the Olympics and knowing that he didn't play as much. I'm actually surprised that he won Player of the Month. I thought it would be Donovan Mitchell from the Cavs, 17-game win streak, the start of the season. So I'm a little bit surprised that is Tatum versus Mitchell. But I'm happy to see Tatum start the season off the way he did, very positive, ready to go, especially after the whole Olympics experience for him. So I'm really happy to see that. In regards to Shea, I think they're the best team in the West. And then when you experience injuries and you're still able to lead your team in this aspect for the first part of the season, that just speaks to his leadership, it speaks to his play, and he should be in the MVP conversation once again. Hopefully, he finishes the job this year.
Justin, what's your thoughts on Shea first, and then touch on Jason Tatum?
Well, for the fact that we talked about it last show, for OKC being undersized, because of the injuries they dealt with, and everybody, not just Shea, having to play power forward center position minutes there, and they still end up with the number one overall record for the West, is a testament to their defense. They're probably the best defensive team in the league right now, and that's without a center. Uh, they are very active. Their hands, the passing lane, the deflections, the strips. They are very active when it comes to playing defense, and everything is being led by
Fast breaks.
Shea.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no surprise for me there. And I think they're trying to start the MVP race off correctly this particular year. So we're gonna give Jason his just due. Like, hey, you have a running start, Jason. This is your shot. You should not finish fifth this year, Jason, because you're going to have the best record in the East. So let him go ahead on and do what he needs to do with that. Only person that Shea has to worry about is Jokic, because he's yet again putting on a masterpiece of a statistical season already. So I mean, he's pretty much averaging down there a triple double, if not over it. So that's what you have to. You got a man averaging a triple double, and he won multiple MVP. So you hope the voters get voters fatigue from him, and hopefully it goes to Shea.
And we're going to be tracking this every week. As you see, we put up the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Player of the Week every week and down the month. So we're going to keep a track of these numbers very closely, so that when it come down to the end of the season, it's time to talk about who should be your MVP. These things should matter. It should matter what your record is. It should matter what you average in these important statistical categories. And if Jason Tatum racking up these Player of the Month awards, the voters need to be looking at that as well. Look, I'm a guy who thinks Jason Tatum should have finished a little better MVP odds last year. But again, sometimes when you're the best team, you know what I mean, you don't get the same love if they feel like your team as a whole is the reason why you're good. So we'll see. I'm very interested to see how these things continue to roll out throughout the rest of the year. But like you say, Jokic is still putting up monster numbers, man. Ridiculous. Now they did Coach of the Month as well, and we talked about Ime Udoka earlier, getting his Rockets team out to a 14-6 start, and he got Kenny Atkinson for the Cleveland Cavaliers at 17-3. Calvin, your thoughts on these two selections?
I think they're right on the money. I mean, they gave Kenny Atkinson credit for the Cavs, but didn't give Donovan Mitchell credit. I'm a little bit offended by that, but I think these are the best two coaches in each respective conference thus far this year. Kenny Atkinson leading that Cavs team, like I said, 17-0 start? I believe. I think that's the third best start in NBA history. And Ime with that young Houston Rockets team that we just talked about. I'm a huge Ime fan, as I said, and I think Kenny Atkinson's a great coach as well. He started off in Brooklyn, now he's taking his talents to Cleveland. So I think they got it right thus far.
Justin?
It's not too much to add. When a team goes 17 or whatever straight, or anything close to that, you got to give that coach credit when it comes to that. Him and the players. So Kenny is definitely a shoe-in when it comes to that on that side, on that front. And it does give more credence to Donovan Mitchell because he was the catalyst to that team. But you're not an MVP type of dude. So let's reserve that for Jason Tatum. Moving forward, when it comes to the Western Conference, I think it was a toss-up. It could have been him, or it could have been the Thunder coach. It's hard. It's whoever has the best particular season. I get a week or month or whatever. I get that part, but like I said, for OKC to battle the injuries that they dealt with, and still maintain the number one overall spot, I think that's
to me
more impressive.
That's true. I think it still says something about it. Inmate to get that team, the Rockets team. If you didn't have high hopes for it, maybe it's wins above expected. Maybe that's what it is. Anyway, let's get into this cup because a lot to talk about, lot to cover. So on Tuesday night, we got the final results for the original round. Let's just do a recap. So the different groups all have winners for each group. So there will be 6 different winners. And there is 2 wild cards, one for the Eastern Conference, one for the Western Conference. And the results of this Group B winner in the Eastern Conference, the overall number 1 seed was the Milwaukee Bucks. Number 2, the Group A winner, the New York Knicks. The 3rd seed is Group C winner, the Atlanta Hawks. That's right, the Atlanta Hawks are the Group C winner. And the wild card was the Orlando Magic. Very interesting. Calvin, your thoughts on the Eastern Conference seeds?
Look, I think with Atlanta surprising Boston, I think that was the best team in that group. And you also, just based on the point differential, you allow Orlando to sneak in. I know it got kind of close last night with their loss to New York. They lost by, I think it was 10 to 12 more points. And all of a sudden, Boston would have got that wild card seed as well. So, but I'm interested in seeing Milwaukee as well. Detroit had a chance last night. I would have liked to have seen Detroit. I'd like to see Cade Cunningham on that bigger stage as well. I think he's a young point guard who really needs some shine because he's doing big things in Detroit. Just the fact that Detroit isn't put on TV a lot, so you really don't know about them. So I wanted to see him on. I wanted to see them on a bigger stage as well. But Milwaukee got that seed, and like you said, they've been playing better as well. So I'm not upset with the East group seedings.
Justin, your thoughts on the East?
More so Atlanta, because I know at least 1 or 2 of those games was against Cleveland, and Cleveland's 2 out of the 3 losses came to Atlanta, by the hands of Atlanta. So Trey and the boys they're doing something right. So I like to see them get their love that they deserve for that. And like I said, Orlando, although we just watched them, I don't know how long they can extend this grouping, because I know you got the knockout series that's coming up. Paolo, he's on his way back, and that might throw a wrench in a lot of things. So it's the fact that when you switch over to the other conference, and Dallas has with given reason been scrutinized a little bit in the early part of the season, but with Luka being hurt, they kind of found their defensive flow. Other players started to step up, and now next thing you know, Luka's back, and they can pull off a victory out of here. So it's very interesting. The teams that's available right now.
Your thoughts on the rest of the West?
So I think Houston is a great spot. OKC is a great spot. We all talked about them. The only other team that's right there is Golden State, and to me that's the X factor. They're more of a wild card in the traditional sense than Dallas, in my opinion. I'm still reluctant on this team. They show me things, and I respect them because of Steph Curry and them boys. But at the same time, they really need everybody firing on all cylinders, from just the entire roster, damn near. And hopefully Draymond Green continues to shoot as well as he's been shooting. And who knows when that can give out at any given time. So he's been hurt himself. So it's just interesting seeing Golden State and just seeing their ups and downs throughout the course of this early season. But like I said, it's very interesting.
Calvin.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to see Draymond anytime soon. I heard on his podcast, he was talking to Baron Davis and kind of compared his calf injury to, I think it was 2022 when he missed 3 months. So not sure when he's gonna. I'm not sure when he's gonna play again, how soon it'll be, but he may miss next week in this next stage. So I think if he doesn't play, then that's another ball handler, and that's your best defender, and you're playing against Shea, against Jalen Green, and against Luka, so you're really going to need that. So I think that may be an easy matchup for whoever they're facing, but the rest of that group with Oklahoma City, Houston, and Dallas, 3 teams that can score, 3 teams with amazing guards, 3 teams with great coaching as well. Really exciting games going to be coming out those West seeds.
I want to go back to what we talked about the Atlanta Hawks. If you just look at Atlanta and the group they were in a group with the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah,
and they come out on
one
top.
team. Yeah,
That's wild, and beat Cleveland twice, as you mentioned. So yeah, they earned their way in. Who we giving that credit to? Do you give that credit to little guy Trey? What's the thoughts?
but I thought he missed one. I think he missed one of the Cleveland games, and they still won. If you go back and look at was it Jalen Johnson? He had a triple-double against either Cleveland or Boston. He's been playing good ball. DeAndre Hunter's been playing good ball. So I think it's just more than Trae Young. It's actually, I give it to the young guy, Jalen Johnson. He's really been leading that team, especially in the absence of Trae Young.
Interesting. All right. So the tournament sets up like this. So on the 10th and the 11th, you'll get the quarterfinals matchups. OKC and Dallas will square off, and also Houston and Golden State, 2 and the 3 seed. And also on the 10th and 11th, you'll have Milwaukee and Orlando, which will be an interesting matchup. And New York gets Atlanta. Now, yeah, I'm old enough to remember Trae Young spoiling some people. So,
nigga, that was like 2-3 years ago.
Hey, I'm old enough to remember. That's all I'm saying. So that'll be interesting.
You took offense to that, didn't you?
It will be interesting to track. So, yeah, I love how they're doing this. And then on the 14th, everybody goes to Vegas for the quarterfinals. And then
why did they move the dates though? Because I don't like to have them having the finals on Tuesday.
I think that the league likes that though.
I mean, last year was on Saturday though, right?
Yeah, I don't think they want to compete. You know, the NFL's starting to go to their Saturday games now, and
maybe they didn't have Saturday games last year. Maybe that was it. That makes sense.
And in college, I think you might be.
You probably in both.
This week is the championship game, conference championship games this week. So next week, if it was next week, they would have been by themselves.
Yeah.
The 17th, it might be.
Probably you starting bowl season at that point. But I mean, is it an important bowl?
Had they stretched it to the weekend, that's Ravens Steelers, and you getting in the bowl season, Christmas time. So maybe they just wanted to wrap it up.
And I believe the playoff bowls start the week before Christmas too.
Yeah.
So they do. So the best week to do it was next weekend, like you said.
And if you do it on a Tuesday night, that's NBA night. You know what I mean? Like really them in hockey are the really only things on during the week. So you get more focus. You get the whole day of build up on all your shows in the morning and all that kind of stuff. I think it's smart.
But last year when you had in Vegas on a Saturday, you allow some travel to Vegas, so you allow the casual fans,
but you didn't get that base. You didn't get that the media attention that you get. I don't think Saturdays is that big of a build up day. I think you want it during a work day. I really do. Like, so you get.
But I mean, like you travel. You have people traveling to Vegas just to go. That's why I'm like.
How many tickets can you sell? You want to sell tickets regardless.
I mean, but I'll say last year it was the Lakers too, so that made it a little bit different as well. So Vegas and LA are pretty close. So
I don't think they'll have any problem selling tickets to this event. That's all I'll say. But anyway, I do like the way they've set it up this year. Do you like the format? How they did this knockout round, all that kind of stuff? What's your thoughts on that? Start with you, Justin.
I was checking the schedule as y'all was going about it, and I was just saying, like, how do they, incorporate this within their schedule? Let's say I picked the Knicks for an example. So they play the 9th, and then they play the 11th, which is against Atlanta, and then the next scheduled game for them is the following Thursday, the 19th. Mm-hmm. So they have. A break. So pretty much what this does, I don't know if other teams still have that same break in that gap in that schedule, but they incorporated this. So if let's just say these teams are one and done, you do have a couple games off to kind of rest and recuperate.
It's like a mini all-star break.
Yeah, it really is.
They didn't fill in this part of the schedule until teams started to get eliminated. Yeah. So if you look at the schedule
last week,
like 3 weeks ago, like from the 10th to the 17th, there were no NBA games scheduled. And then as teams got eliminated, they started to fill it in with who they would play because like you said, the winner ends up playing one extra game technically, so they'll play 83 games. But yeah, so they just started filling the schedule. But like you said, if you get this far and you lose on that first 10th or 11th, you have a nice little break. I doubt they're going to fill in a game in 2-3 days notice, because now you gotta get the away team there. You gotta get your
book an
schedule.
arena.
So yeah, so
And the
you
other
have a nice
teams,
little break.
yeah, and the other teams that play, I just picked Minnesota just for a random. They play the 13th and the 15th, so they don't get a break. So it's just the teams that make it this far.
It's a reward.
I think like if you look at like
a slight reward from it.
I think like you got to look at like Detroit and like teams that had a shot as of last night, because their schedule may be a little bit different. Because even last night they didn't know if they were going to make the quarterfinals or not. So their schedule may be a little bit more friendly as to where they may not play a game to the 12th. They may have like a back-to-back 15th and the 16th, something like that.
All right, so Tuesday the 10th, that's the first knockout round. Orlando and Milwaukee. Let's talk about this game, this matchup. Like you say, Milwaukee been coming on strong. I've been very pleased with Giannis's effort. A couple weeks ago, I was very frustrated. I'm not going to give the credit to Doc Rivers. I know some people have been trying to do that. I don't think that's the case. I think there's been individuals stepping up to the plate, answering the call, and saying, this is about pride. Even if it's for my next destination, I want to put my best foot forward. Calvin, what's your thoughts? Milwaukee, Orlando?
Look, outside of tonight, Milwaukee's getting blown out right now, but they're on the second end of a back-to-back. You get Giannis health. You get Giannis with rest. You get Dame Lillard with rest. I think there's just a little too much firepower, even for this hot Orlando Magic team, who really only has one main scoring option. And then if you put Giannis on Wagner and you kind of cancel out that matchup, I think Dame can be the X factor. I think he still can get buckets even against good perimeter defenders, and especially in the Eastern Conference. So I like Milwaukee in this matchup, and I think Milwaukee has to continue to want to improve. They continue to get better. Then you add a piece like Chris Middleton back into the mix, and hopefully you can continue to ascend to get better once you bring him back. So I'm going to give the edge to Milwaukee. I'm going to pick Milwaukee because I think they can be the better team, and they'll be more talented on that night.
What up with you, King? Appreciate you chiming in. Justin, your thoughts? Orlando and Milwaukee.
Well, despite tonight, Milwaukee has won 9 in the last 10 games. It was some easier games within that, but the fact is that they won those games.
The bar for Milwaukee is low right now.
When you go headed to play Orlando, you're looking at one thing: can they maintain some kind of? They should be able to destroy this team. They should be able to dominate this team. They should not let the Wagner brother go off like that. But with that being said, I think I don't know the head coach for Orlando, but he has those boys playing very well, very, very good basketball. I want to say Mosley or something like that. But yeah, he has them playing very well, as we talked about before. So I'm looking for a nice victory for Milwaukee.
Jamal Mosley,
Mosley, there we go. And like I said, Milwaukee should have the guns to counter the Wagner brother, but it shouldn't be close.
They beating up on Philly right now. Not really beating up when they win, but I like Orlando's fight and what they've been showing as of late. So congratulations to them. Good stuff. Let's talk about this Mavericks and OKC Thunder game. Big time matchup. Like you say, Luka getting healthy. He played last night. Kyrie. Yeah, I'm not even gonna get into it because my parlay. But yeah, my parlay, man. Come on. The Mavs are 3 games away from OKC in the L column for the first seed, 1 game away from Houston in the L column for the second seed. Yeah, it was like I said, we said earlier, there's a lot of parity in the Western Conference right now. But on the court, when it matters, tournament style, who you got, Justin?
This is, I think, what Dallas is waiting for. They managed, like I said earlier, to weather the storm, to play better without Luka. I'm not saying they're a better team without Luka, but they managed to play better. PJ Washington, Kyrie, Quentin Grimes, Clay, they all stepped up while Luka was gone. And that's if you're a superstar, that's what you want to see. You want to see your team perform very well so that you can kind of come back and add to them instead of everything being dependent upon you. So this is the test. This is the people that they're going to see again. You're going to see them later on in the season. You're going to see them in the playoffs. And when you see them in the playoffs, it's probably a higher seed that you're going to see them against later on in the playoffs. So just like it was last year. So this is one of those statement games, in my opinion. And I expect Dallas to win this type of game. But I'm going with OKC just because OKC is riding a little bit stronger. And we'll see what kind of legs Luka has going against this team.
Calvin.
Yeah, I'm around with OKC. I believe Dallas beat OKC without Luka, and that was one of the Kyrie and Quentin Grimes games. But are we starting to worry about Clay yet? Are we at that point we worry about Clay? I mean,
Clay's
I know he's
been
missed.
balling. I don't think he had
he
maybe one or two bad games.
He missed the last couple games. The last game was, but they won that game, so I can't really fault you in a loss for if you don't get the minutes as you normally do. I'm sorry, fault you in a win if you don't get the minutes as you normally do. But I think this game is more important to Oklahoma City. I think this is what the conference finals should have been last year, in my opinion. And I think they as much as to prove, as you said, Dallas does. Dallas wants to get back. Oklahoma City wants to take that next step. And Dallas is a team that you have to go get past to take that next step. So I think they'll go back and forth throughout the season. I want to see what happens, with they have Hartenstein right now. So they're still dealing with injuries as well. So I want to see what can they do with Luka and with Kyrie. I think Shea's going to be a beast in himself. He's going to get to the line. Can there be opportunities where you can force Luka to get frustrated by guarding Shea? We've seen him have some back and forth with the referees, getting a couple of texts recently. So I just want to see if this matchup is important to Dallas as it is Oklahoma City. Because I think Oklahoma City wants to prove that they're on that next level and they're eye to eye with Dallas.
Well, that's all well and great, but this is what I will say. If I put another parlay ticket together for Kyrie to score 20, and he only give me 10, we got real
last
problems.
night.
Yes, last night. I don't want to talk about it no more. But yeah, Jordan Poole and Kyrie cost me like $1,200. I'm like, hey, Jesus. But anyway, yeah, I got OKC winning this game. I just think right now, where you go, Justin? Oh, he stepped off. I just think right now they're learning how to the mesh back together. Kyrie, I thought played more free flowing, getting PJ Washington, getting Dinwiddie, these different players involved, and sometimes a lot
Lively as well. Yeah,
Lively play well, but a lot of I don't know. Maybe it's the Lucas show and everything will go right and all that's great. Maybe it's filling him out, but I don't know, man. Shea's a problem for anybody defensively. And we'll see what they're able to do with him. We will see. Let's see what he said. Luka just got 6 guys in double figures the last 2 games. Great on Luka, but he didn't get Kyrie in double figures. I need Kyrie, damn it. It's all good. Next up, Atlanta Hawks and the New York Knicks. Maybe we'll save this one because Justin had to step off for a second. Let's talk with Golden State and Houston. You brought up with Draymond Green. How significant is that injury? You heard any more news on that, Calvin?
He said it was a calf, but he compared it to the calf strain he had from a couple of years ago, and just originally trying to play through and then not get better. So the way he talked, and knowing that the injury he was out for 3 months, the way he talked as though he'll be out for a couple of weeks, so it's not uncertain when he'll return. But without him, you lose your defensive stalwart, and I don't think you have another playmaker besides Steph. So I don't see how you can keep up with the Houston team, especially in Houston. Steph may give you 40, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to beat Houston.
It's Steph, man. And again, they started hot, and we were very all surprised that the Warriors were able to come out the gates the way they have. They come back to earth. But I think that in a tournament style setting, in a game where you win or you go home type of thing, I don't know, man. Stuff we've seen it. We've seen it. There's too many examples of that guy being able to turn it on. And I think this will be a close ball game. I'm going with Golden State just off of the strength of Steph, to be honest with you. Justin, your thoughts?
I agree with the fact that we have to find out if Houston's really ready for this kind of a stage. They really don't know what this is about. It's going to be extra footage, extra cameras. You got the TNT crew might even be there, or at least chiming in,
They'll be there
through the mics.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be there.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying they'll be there. So it's like it's a lot going on, and if you're not used to the stage, it's like, hey, man. So now you gotta go towards the Golden State side. So you still, like you said, you have Steph, you have Kuminga, you have Moody, you have Buddy Hill, you have Wiggins. You're just waiting for any one of those guys to kind of step up and perform regularly, and then Steph kind of do everything else. So with all that being said, Houston takes the W. I just think that I believe in the coach is going to have them prepared, similar to Mark Jackson when he had Golden State back in the day. He used to tell them, embrace the moment. This is your moment. This is your time. Like, you're not used to it, get used to it. That kind of a thing. I feel that same vibe coming from Udoka. So that's what I'm going with. With all that being said, this is your time to shine. Go out there and take it. Take it from me.
That is your favorite saying. I got a little drinking game over here. Every time they say, with that, all that being said, I mean, golly, that's gonna be the name of your show when you get your own show. All that being said, yeah. Anyway, so we didn't talk about the Knicks. So the Knicks and the Hawks 7:00 game. So what's your thoughts? Just give me your honest opinion. Do you think they can dispatch of the Hawks, and will it be close? Justin?
Close. What is close in the NBA? Within 10 points?
Yeah.
Respect.
I think that it's going to. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to give Atlanta some respect because they are here. But with that, being considered, I think New York is prime for this moment. I think that they are a more balanced team, and we'll see. I think Trey and Jalen's going to give you one hell of a show. I'm just more concerned, like I said, it's the other pieces. It's the OGs of the world. It's the Mikal Bridges of the world. It's the Josh Hart of the world. Those are the ones that I want to see shine as well. If you telling me that one of those dudes gives me 25 plus, I can go home happy with that one. I can say we got a victory from that because I know Cat is going to kill up. Man, Cat's been dominating this year.
Cat's been dominating the board.
I don't know if y'all really been saying that.
He's been dominating. Hey, I put him on my parlay almost every night.
19 rebounds, something like that.
He gets you 10 and 12 every night.
He's definitely been everything that we was hoping for, and then some, without complaining, without the whining. He's been doing none of that, man. He's been a model citizen, as the New Yorkers call him, the big bodega. So, if he comes to play, and like I said, we just need one more person, and like I said, whoever it is out the other three, we'll be just fine.
Yeah. Like I say, I pencil him in for at least 10 rebounds a night.
Yeah.
What's up, Calvin? Your thoughts?
Do we not remember what happened the last time Trae Young came to the Garden? Do we not remember the show?
That was years ago.
Do we not remember the show that was years put on? Do we not remember?
I love the it's in New York team.
Do we not remember? Who was it? Nerlens Noel who tried to check him. Nerlens got Noel.
He's not in the league anymore.
All I'm going to say, you're right, but he was on y'all roster before he left the league, which says a lot.
Understood.
With all that being said, I like the Knicks.
Yeah,
I just want to remind you what happened.
They're the better team, but great story by the Hawks, man. They even make it to this point coming out of that group with the Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics. That's tremendous, man. They're great showing, and this is what the in-season tournament is all about. Go a little higher than what you're expecting. So again, these matchups will take place on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we'll be back next week to cover that. So that's very interesting stuff. Before we get out of here, any other thoughts on what's going on around the league? Not necessarily have to be involved with the in-season tournament, but just any storylines, anything contract-wise, injuries, Calvin, you always good for that because we ain't talked about your team tonight. What's your thoughts?
I was going to tap in with them. Look, there's been a lot of struggle from LeBron James lately. I'm not sure if this is finally for the time catching up to him, but to basically in garbage time need to get a basket to score 10 points to extend your streak a couple nights ago. Not what I was expecting. Not good, especially on defense. Just the lackluster effort, and we've seen it from the last couple of years. It's just becoming too much of the norm. When you are someone of the stats of LeBron James, and you have a better plus minus off the floor than on the floor thus far this year, I think that says a lot about what you're doing on defense and the shot selection on offense. I understand he's back to playing the point guard role, but he doesn't necessarily have the shooters around. I'm not going to blame the roster. I'm not saying that's the case. It's better effort and better decision on his part, and that's where it starts. And if this team wants to make the playoffs, wants to be a threat, it starts there. That's all I got.
Justin, your thoughts on LeBron and everything that's been going on with the Lakers?
They need to bring his son back. That's what they need to do. Clearly, that's the issue here. Clearly, he was trying to perform well. And the fact
there is
that
some truth to that.
They get rid of his son. That was his heart and soul of the team just gone, just ripped out underneath of him. And with that was his shooting percentage because that plummeted straight down to the straight garbage the way it is right now because he can't shoot. Never really could.
Did he make any tonight? I gotta check and see if he made some tonight. Made one.
He needs to go do some soul searching before it's too late. Because Anthony Davis has been balling as of late.
Made one.
So we're not going to take away Anthony Davis and his dominance thus far.
Anthony Davis had 8 points tonight.
I wasn't talking about tonight. I was talking about in general.
I don't know. Anthony Davis been slipping here lately. If you've been watching,
but no, it could be Father Time. We don't know yet. He's the only person to fight for all the time as long as anybody. So he is doing that. So every game is new to us. We don't know. We have nothing else to compare to because there's been no one to dominate this long. So that's kudos to LeBron in that fact because he's still going to give the benefit of the doubt because he is the doubt. That's right. So that's what it is when it comes to the Lakers.
No, I agree with that. I think that we're critical of LeBron in some respect because you're comparing him against himself. But at some point, like we talk about Aaron Rodgers in the NFL, at some point, if you're not able to do what you used to do, when is the right time to hang it up? When is the right time to say, when am I doing more harm than good and step away? That's a question. You know what I mean? Like, is it getting to the point where if LeBron is not the best defender, because I think a lot of it is a defensive issue too. You know what I mean? If he's not able to defend at a high level or pick his spots, at what point do you say, JJ, maybe we only play LeBron? We don't play LeBron on back-to-backs. We don't play LeBron. I know he wanted to play 82. I don't know why. You know what I mean? At this stage of his career, he would even attempt to do something like that. Is it out of need or is it out of pride? Because maybe you can try some different lineups if LeBron wasn't playing every night and see what was working. I just think that at some point, JJ is going to have to be the adult in the room and be like, look, love you, brother. Thank you for all you've done, but we're going to have to turn you into a role player. At some point, maybe LeBron comes off the bench. I don't know. Like, maybe not for the rest of the season, but just to give a different look. To see some different things.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I know, but
now you're being disrespectful.
I'm just saying, man. Like maybe cut back on some of his games. Maybe LeBron.
I don't mind reserved minutes. Let's say that you start.
That's not LeBron though.
5 minutes in, come and sit your butt down, and then we keep on. You're not going to tell LeBron to come off the bench. That's not.
That's my point. They cut his games in. Again, the guy's in a slump. We all seen athletes in a slump, but I think it's poor shot selection, and we've seen this over the course of the last 2 or 3 years. The guy's turned himself into just a pure He think he's Steph Curry or something like that, like just shooting threes for no reason. It's cool when you're making them, but when you're bricking them, it's time to stop taking them. And at what point do you have to be the coach and say, "Hey, pal, if you take a couple of these more ill-advised shots, for no reason, heat checks and all this other stuff, it's time to sit down, man." Again, interesting. Let's talk about Joel Embiid. What have you seen from Joel since he come back from his injury? Have you been impressed? We know we talked a couple weeks ago about the closed door meeting and Maxey calling him out, things of that nature. Have you noticed any improvements? Have you noticed Joel, responding better? We know he's not playing back-to-backs and things of that nature. Has he played more consistently? Have you been paying attention to what's going on in Philly? Any improvements at all, Calvin?
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
Not from Joel Embiid. I've seen leadership from Tyrese Maxey. I've seen someone trying to be better and trying not to make this a lost season for the Philadelphia 76ers. And I give Tyrese Maxey credit for that. But I don't see anything from Joel Embiid outside of him going through the motions, saying, "I'll be there when it counts." You can't be there when it counts if you can't get to the playoffs, if you can't play in the regular season, if you can't have any cohesion with your new teammates. There is no reason that Maxey and Paul George are out here playing with injuries, trying to get better, trying to improve this team when your MVP, the best player on your team, can't play back-to-backs, is lethargic on offense, isn't rebounding, isn't playing defense. So you've seen nothing from Embiid. You've seen nothing that has changed Embiid. I'm not saying he's not injured. I'm just saying, when did you get injured? What's the extent of your injury? If this is an injury that you dealt with from last season that never healed because you chose to play in the Olympics, then that's another issue that Philadelphia should address. Because if he wasn't healthy during that period, you should not have let him play. I don't care if he wanted to play or not. If you wanted to know what it's like to win or not, because he hasn't shown you anything since. And now you're a quarter of the season through. And what are you, next to last place? You got 5 victories on the year. You're supposed to be contending for the championship.
Yeah. Justin, your thoughts?
I don't think he's been playing. I don't think he hasn't been playing.
That's what you haven't seen anything from him. He's in the street clothes.
He came back, had maybe one good game out of the 4 or 5 he played so far, and he's hurt again. So when you talk about what you're saying, he is down in that class of a Zion. It's good when I see you. And until then, I see you when I see you. That's just where we at with him. It's sad, but at the end of the day, we don't know whether it's physical conditioning. We don't know whether it's ego, pride, hashtag the Olympics and things like that. So we don't know what part of the pie is the biggest, but at the end of the day, it all resorts to him not playing.
3 letters, DNP. That's not MVP, DNP, and that's pathetic. I know I was watching the other day, about a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago. They was against Brooklyn, and Ben Simmons was on the court, and I'm looking at Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons got a little life to him. You know what I mean? It's quietly there.
Year.
It's quietly there. He's contributing. I'm not on not Ben for going out there and giving it his all. We know he has mental health issues and things of that nature, a little shell shock. But and Joel, DNP with a knee. You know what I mean? Like, at some point, you can't be this guy who flapping your gums, talking all this bluster. I should have been the MVP. I should have been this. I've got screwed. Look. Availability is the best ability. And right now, what can you say? You know what I mean? Like you say, he not showing up for his team when it really matters. Another story before we get out of here that I did want to touch on that I've been really, really, really frustrated about is the Washington Wizards. Calvin, you were a season ticket holder at one point. What made you give up your tickets? Come on, be honest.
What am I supporting? I'm supporting a team that doesn't want to win right now. They had a number 2 draft pick. They're rebuilding. But there's no reason for you to hold on to Kyle Kuzma. You need veterans on your team. I understand that, but if you have assets that you could turn to get better, let's use them. And this team has not wanted to win, or has not have actively tried to win in what, almost 10 years?
Yeah,
Is that fair to say? So, what do you support now? I will go and watch some other teams play, the visitors. But that's the reason you go to Wizards game, not to see the Wizards, but to see whoever they're playing.
Absolutely pathetic, man. 2 wins on the season, just terrible. Before we get out of here, Justin, give me your scorecard on Wemby. Year 2. What's your thoughts?
You know, it's funny because I was going to bring him up. You ever see? Let's talk fantasy. Let's get into sci-fi a little bit, right? You ever see like the Hawk, as big, strong as he is, right? And when people try to go against him, they try to bring some type of mechanical armor, and it just doesn't. It's not as fluid. It's not as organic as what the Hawk is.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw San Antonio play Phoenix, and I know that everything that what Wemby wants to be, he wants to be basically a Kevin Durant. It looks good until you go up against a Kevin Durant. And as fluid as his ball handling is, to his pull up, to his sidestep, everything's fluid with KD. It's a struggle sometimes with Wemby, and it's either he's going to catch and shoot. He can't really dance with the ball like that. Like he can, but he can't. He can dance against other centers, but when there's other small forwards and power forwards guard him that's quicker, he has some struggles. So what do? You just go to the key and turn around and shoot the damn ball. That's all you really need to do. He just doesn't want to do it. So until he gets in his head that that's your advantage, yes, you can dance with some of them, but you're not KD. So you got to get that KD vision out your head. You need to be your own person other than trying to be like KD. KD is one of one. That's why KD is KD. He's one of the greatest, if not the greatest scorer of the basketball that we have ever seen, based on the fact that he's a 7-foot guard. Wemby, you are not a 7'5" guard, bro. You're not that. So find some way to get a little bit closer, to get some more easier buckets. No one can block your shot. Just turn around and go. I know you don't want to go with your back to the basket because that's a physicality that you might not want right now. We get that part. However, you can just touch it, 2 steps, 2 dribbles, and just turn around and shoot it. There's no one that's going to be able to defend your shot. So
this is my problem. And that's why I went to you first, because I didn't want to lead being harsh. I don't like Wemby's game. I know everybody praises his game. I know everybody is
good when it goes.
When, I get that. But to me, it's fool's gold. It's not sustainable. My problem is you're in a franchise, one of the greatest power forward / centers of all time.
And one of the greatest centers of all time.
Yeah.
That's true. And both of them, do you not listen? Have they not offered help?
Oh, they offered. You saw it.
Like
we can see him.
I know, that's my point.
Mm-hmm. It's him.
What are you doing? Why? And this is the problem with this era, and why it gets labeled soft, and why people go ahead and say, "Oh, everybody wants." Because why I loved Giannis so much, and why I respected Giannis's game, and people criticize him for not shooting threes and all that kind of stuff. Like, good. Go to the rack. Dunk the basketball. Go drive go. Yes. Could you imagine if you combine Wemby's touch with a killer instinct to go to the hole? He's 7'8", 7'9". He's the biggest thing on the court. Go to the rack. Like, it's ridiculous, man. And he's young. He'll get better. I'm not trying to criticize. Even KD, he was slinky. Remember how KD used to look just like Wemby, like lengthwise? But this guy's like got 4 or 5 inches on KD. Like, it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating. Get down your ass. And I'm shocked with Pop. I'm disappointed in Pop.
Well, Pop hadn't been there, though.
But this was happening when Pop was there too.
Yeah. But it happened with CP3, which is crazy as well. Like CP3 should be the one to be like, get your ass in the paint. You on the block. Like roll to the like if we pick and roll, there's no one that can get the ball if I throw it over top. There's no reason you should. And
he's great. Shooting. I'm not discrediting the man's skills. He puts up some eye-popping stats at time, but you're not Dirk Nowitzki. I hated Dirk's game, but for his body's type, I guess it worked. It worked for him. But for me, I will take I hate KG, but I'll take a Tim Duncan KG game over a guy, a 7-footer out there shooting threes any day of the week. Go ahead, Calvin. Any thoughts?
Look, I agree with everything you guys said. I thought he would be, I don't want to say further along, but I thought he would be more dominant or use his size more at this point. But I don't know why he wants to, like you said, be a 7, like we just said, be a 7'4" Kevin Durant, when you can easily be unstoppable in the paint. There is no one that can guard you on a pick and roll or if I throw the ball to you, because you can shoot over everyone. And that has to be frustrating for San Antonio fans and for Wemby fans that he's not further along. Now, defensively, you can make that argument that he's one of the best in the league, but offensively, there's no reason you should not be getting the easy baskets into the lane consistently. Run the offense through him. Like I think any basketball fan, amateur coach can just say, look, this is what you should be doing. I'm not saying you shouldn't be shooting threes, but you shouldn't be shooting as many as Steph Curry. Yeah, that's the biggest. I agree. I agree with everything you guys said. He bails
them out. It's called Anthony Towns syndrome. You know what I mean? Just jacking up threes. Now, Carl's gotten better. He getting his ass down there and collecting rebounds. But again, there is a balance that needs to be found. He's in year 2. I'll have faith that Pop will get him where he needs to be, but it needs to cut coming. Any final thoughts before we get out of here? Of course, our Wednesday show is only an hour. We're a little bit over time, but not really because I didn't hit record when I was supposed to. So any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Shout out to the Clippers, man. They was in that demographic. They was in that chart. They're top 18 right now, and Kawhi hasn't touched the floor yet.
James Harden, man.
It's been James Harden and the crew. And it's one. What's the other guy name on the team?
Norm Powell.
Shout out my man. My man's been balling for real. So it's just a testament to James Harden going back, taking it, dialing back a couple years. Being a facilitator, playmaker, doing a little bit of everything, man. So definitely shout out to Ty Lue and the Clippers right now.
Definitely, Calvin.
Shout out to Orlando. I gave them props early on.
Well, we gave Orlando 45 shout outs.
We good. I said
Orlando.
I said Orlando.
Thank you, Orlando. I said Orlando. We gave a hella shout outs today.
I can't get one more shout out.
We gave you
okay, I'll give you something else. What happened to Tyrese Halliburton? Anybody know what happened to him? This is the guy who was a walking double last year. So last year was the anomaly, is what we're saying.
He had a good game overnight.
That was probably his first. That was his first double-digit point game, I think, in the last 3 weeks. I'm just like, this is the guy who was a walking double
with some injuries too, so I'm gonna give him a little bit leeway with that. They haven't had that full team.
They'll be ready for the Knicks in the playoffs.
When you say that they haven't had that full team, who's been missing?
Some of their no-name players that they know.
But I mean, McConnell's been there. Siakam's been there. Like you have
Siakam been getting 20 a night. I ain't mad at him.
Oh, you're right, Siakam. I'm not saying about Siakam. I'm saying something about the point guard that averaged 25 and 13 last year.
Got me
now
20
can't hit a
night.
3. They had this explosive offense going up and down the court, and now, I mean, I bet him the first 2 weeks. And he ain't touched it. He ain't touched my slips.
Anyway, as y'all can tell, sports betting is real. All right, guys, we thank you for watching tonight. We appreciate you. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday night as we continue back with the NFL season. And then we'll follow up because remember, Tuesday and Wednesday are the knockout rounds. I did not get around to it yet. I'm going to check it out tomorrow during the day. Have you checked it out, Justin?
I have not, but I will try to YouTube as much as I can.
We will see it, and we will have a full review on this week's edition of Come Get Off the Damn Fence this Tuesday night, 9:00. And we'll be back next Wednesday night for another follow-up. Again, next Tuesday and Wednesday are knockout rounds. So big time basketball games coming up. pay attention to that schedule as we just went over it. And we'll see you back here next week. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube, Facebook. Next week will be YouTube exclusive on Wednesday night. But Tuesday night, tune in Facebook Live for Get Off the Damn Fence. We appreciate you all. You have a good weekend. And we'll see you next week. Holla.
We might